What is up, guys? Today we are going to be going through some tips and tricks for Chapter 6. This is specifically zero build. Some of these will apply to normal Fortnite, and most, if not all, will apply to zero build. The first tip I'm going to give out is actually while I'm landing. Do not land at Seaport City or Canyon Crossing at all costs. If you're like me, you will fall to your death almost half of the time. This is not a tip for those who are actually skilled. But for people who just jump blindly, I wouldn't land at either of those locations. But let's get right into the video. Our first helpful tip, if you want to start off the game with some good loot, get a legendary chest right off the rip of the game, go help our turtle friend out. He spawns at 7 different locations. I'll throw that up on the screen where he can spawn. It changes every game. If you break these dark thorns on his back, they're magical, you are going to be rewarded with a legendary chest. So, if you want to start off the game with some good loot, there's a launch pad on his nose, land at the turtle. And the final dark thorn, and we can look and see, if we run right over to Ryuji, he gives us a legendary chest, so we already have a purple AR just to start off the game. And I didn't have to spend any gold. But on to the next tip. Actually, another little fun tip, it's not really a tip, but a little tidbit. For some reason, when you go to the turtle, there is always mats. I'm in zero build, so this does absolutely nothing for me. But if you want to be the only person with mats in zero build, land on the turtle and buy the launch pad, you're going to get 30 mats. You can't do anything with it, but it's cool, I guess. My next tip / trick is sort of a more opinionated tip. If you're in the middle of the game and you can't seem to find an SMG that you like, or you find the SMGs to be a little bouncy, consider using the Fury Assault Rifle with no scope just as an SMG. If you're using this thing close range, it does bits of damage as long as you're aiming right. And honestly, it shoots slower, but it hits so hard that it's similar to using an SMG, honestly. So if you can't seem to find an SMG, definitely consider just using a Fury Assault Rifle as that SMG. It does shoot slower, like I said, but it hits hard enough to make up for the lack of fire rate. My next tip goes for anybody who is newer to Fortnite, newer to zero build, or just doesn't play it a lot. When you're playing zero build, you have to carry porta bunkers. If you don't have porta bunkers late game, you're just at the whim of the zone at that point. If the circle pulls bad for you, you're dead. So always make sure to carry porta bunkers. They can save you in a pinch, and honestly, they make winning the games a lot easier. My next tip is just a PSA that the hunting rifle shoots like a limp noodle now. For some reason, they gave it max bullet drop and just kind of ruins the weapon as a whole. So unless you're shooting short range, I would not recommend picking it up, because if you're going to shoot far, that bullet is going to drop like crazy, and you are going to just let somebody know that you're shooting at them. But on to the next. Here's my example. It landed at his feet somehow. It landed at his feet again somehow. Doesn't make any sense. Give me my things back. I'm done with that. My next tip is to be on the lookout for the Earth Sprites. These dudes can spawn in a large number of locations. There's only 2 per map every game. You give them your gun. You trade it in. He's going to spit out a gold gun. They're very, very easy to miss, but if you have extra guns or those extra guns laying out, just feed him one. Maybe you'll get something that's useful. Most of the time, I feel like he gives me garbage. But bam, gold Oni shotgun. You can only do it once a game, but just be on the lookout for them. They're very hard to find, but I feel like people see them more frequently than they realize. The next bit of advice that I would have for anybody who plays this game, like me, you don't play all the time, but you play it enough and you just want to level up. Just make sure you're opening things. If you see chests, open them. If you see loot crates, or you see ammo crates, just open everything you see. Break barrels. You get so much XP just from interacting with things this season that by the time you finish a game or you die, you'll get like just 5,000 XP alone from opening or breaking barrels. So just make sure you open and break every barrel you see. And that's an easy way to level up pretty quickly. Another great piece of information is the swirl located at the very bottom of the map is a very underrated landing location. When you land here, you have a series of chests that almost nobody's going to contend you with. You're going to get one of the elemental chests that spawns right there, and in the very front, you're always, well, like 75% of the time, going to get the Typhoon Blade, which will give you the movement to just rotate directly into Masked Meadows, where if you want to get kills, there's always going to be people there. So this is a great landing location to get yourself set up to actually go into one of those fights. My next tip is to take advantage of the vault that is in Night Shift Forest. First, you have to locate the Bush Ranger. That can be at any of, I believe it's 4 different pavilions around Night Shift Forest. They're kind of on the edge. But once you find him, you walk up to him, make sure you have a Sprite. You show him the Sprite. He's going to take it, make it pretty in daytime, and then we're going to get a key. And once we have that key, we can actually take this back to the middle of Night Shift Forest and open up the vault. And once you have the key, you are going to take it to this vault right here, deposit it into the vault, and then bam. You get all this crazy loot that's actually inside the vault that for some reason, nobody ever comes here to get. And my final tip is to use the slash move on height. For somebody like this, if you just slash them forward and send them flying, you're going to do a crazy amount of fall damage if you're up on the hills. You can get great positioning, and then maybe someone's better looted than you. All you got to do is slash them off. And then they go flying, bam, they die from fall damage. It makes the fight a little easier, and it's just another way to take advantage of what the weapon can do for you. And my final tip of this video is always keep in mind that Fortnite has blessed us with launch pads on top of almost every single mountain peak. So a great way to win endgame is you just post up with a Porta bunker. You have your blade. Somebody comes up the hill. You slash them off the hill. They die from fall damage. If they get up the hill, or if there's, you're getting overwhelmed, you hit the launch pad directly behind you. Rotate to where you need to go. So I hope these tips / tricks and a little bit more information have been helpful to you. If you like these, I'll do another video with some more tips and tricks for people who like to play Zero build. But that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.